Welcome back to another episode of the Stomping Ground. So today's project, we're going to be doing a little timber stand improvement. I'm actually going to start clear cutting this patch back here, about a quarter-acre patch of woods. Primarily right now I just have a lot of ash trees. There's some maple trees. There's also some elm and a few oaks in here. But there's one big oak back here. It's a shingle oak that I'm probably going to put a stand in so that I can kind of sneak back here in early bow season once I actually make some plantings and they start to grow and get a little bit more mature. So I have about 300 or 400 white oaks planted at my house, and basically this spring I'm going to come out here, get some tree tubes, and start planting an oak patch. You know, I've actually did a lot of walk arounds the property and looking for different oak species, but primarily what we have out here are mainly red oaks. So we have pin oak, shingle oak, and that's about all the real oak species I can find. There's a few white oaks, but not anything that you can really, set up in on early bow season. So today I'm going to be clear cutting about a quarter-acre patch of woods, and I'm going to take a lot of that brush and debris that I've cut down. I'm going to create it into a small game habitat. So I've done a little research as far as creating those small game habitats. If you take and stack the logs, kind of like Lincoln logs, you can actually create, small game habitat for rabbits, which I don't have a lot of rabbits out here right now. I have a few, but I think the coyotes keep them pretty much in check. So I want to create more habitat for small game species, because I do like to squirrel hunt, rabbit hunt, in addition to turkey, deer, and waterfowl and upland. So today's project is gonna take probably multiple days, but I'm gonna clear cut this section, create some small game habitat. My dad's coming out here in a little bit, fire up the chainsaws, and kind of get to work. I've got a lot of different projects going on this winter to get ready for next spring. Eventually we're gonna put in a pond out here, but right now I just kind of want to improve the habitat and improve the diversity in the tree species. So stay tuned. I'll give you a quick walkthrough of the area I'm going to clear cut, and then we'll talk a little bit about what we're going to do coming up here. So I've got my dog Remy with me today. She's always by my side. She's got her hunter orange on. She's ready to go bird hunting. So I'm going to do a quick walk through this little section back here where we're going to do some timber stand improvement. Kind of talk about why I picked this section. So as you look down this section of woods, there's nothing really great to hold deer or any other wildlife really. It's just mainly a transition zone coming from bedding, and I just kind of want to improve that so that the deer will actually can draw it in here as kind of more of an ambush point before they come out into the food plots. So behind me I've got a shingle oak that I think it'll make a good stand for early bow season. So basically I'm going to kind of pile debris up in front of this area and kind of keep it separated from the rest of the plot, so that basically I can come in here on a south wind and kind of hunt this stand and keep the deer from kind of walking beside me or seeing me access my stand. So I'll do a quick walkthrough of this area where we're going here. As you can see, it's a pretty heavily used trail coming through here. I've seen a lot of doe come through here and they walk back to this bedding area. It's kind of a big bowl as it goes off this ridge line. And so I just kind of want to take a lot of this scrub trees out of here. There's nothing really in here, like I said, that are keeping deer kind of close to the food plots. So if I can improve this and make it a quality oak patch, I think this in a few years, when this white oaks start to get a little bit bigger, I think that I can actually hunt over this. So I've got a lot of chestnut oak, which put off a lot of acorns, and they're pretty large acorns, so I think that'll be the primary species I put back here. I have some white oaks that are growing right now that I think will take a little bit longer than the chestnut oaks. So I'm going to put probably at least, I'd say, 60 chestnut oaks in here. And as you can see, it kind of drops off over this ridge line into a big bowl down here. And The deer use this area a lot. I just haven't had a chance to really do much hunting back here, because you typically scare a lot of deer off as soon as you start walking down this ridge line, because they bed back here in this bowl. So my goal is to kind of get them to come to me, just kind of slip in this section of oaks over here in a few years, and hopefully early bow season will pan out for me. So stay tuned. We're going to get the chainsaws out here in a minute and kind of start cutting this stuff up, getting it stacked up, and clear a section for our oak plantings this spring. Quick video about what I'm building over here. So I'm basically taking all these logs and building some rabbit habitat. So what?
I said we can probably clean a lot of this up.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of old tar rims and wood.
Yeah.
Shingles.
Yeah, I know.
I wish we'd have done it with the excavator.
There's a lot of junk in there we'll have to clean out. But anyway, back to this. Making some rabbit sanctuaries. Basically leave them about 6 to 8 inches underneath to crawl in and burrow down in there, and basically putting along this fence line here and leaving the center of this open about where my dad's standing. So it should turn out well once I get all this done. Well, it's the end of the first night on this project. As you can see, we're starting to get quite a bit of an opening cleared out here in front, and it's going to take probably a couple more days to get everything out of here and clean it up to where I can actually plant some oak trees this spring. But I just wanted to show you kind of the end result of what the rabbit burrows kind of look like when you're done with them. These take quite a while to do, but if you do them right, obviously you can get quite a few rabbits to live under one of these things. You should make them about 6 foot tall, up to about 10 foot long, and this one's probably at least 6 foot long, maybe not 7 foot, and at least 5 foot tall. So I could get a little bit more work to do, maybe stack a few more limbs on it. But starting to clear up a little bit in here. Well, it's day 3 of trying to clear cut this area. Got quite a bit of it cleaned up. My dad's out there on the chainsaw. We got a nice pile going. We're gonna burn, and on the south side of the fence line, got quite a few rabbit burrows created. So I think keep making some more as it goes down this ridge line and see where it goes from there. How much wood we got left, but we're getting ready to take a big tree down here and clear up a lot of the canopy so that we can come in here in the spring and start planting some oaks, some white oaks. But Remy's out here and we're getting her cleaned up today. It was nice. Tree fell there. Fell right where we wanted it to.
Yeah. I held cut loose on the far side and I held it on this side so it could work.
Yeah. Well, time to start cutting this one up. Well, it's the end of day 3 of this little project on the house farm. And as you can see, we've gotten quite a bit cleared out. Got a big old burn pile there. And next time we're here, we'll probably burn that when it dries out a little bit. Got the rabbit burrows about stretched out about every 50 feet or so. Still got quite a few more to build. Gonna clear out the rest of those trees as it dips over the ridge line. And got quite a bit of firewood stacked up. Just got to split it next time we're out here. But all in all, it's going pretty good. I think we probably got another 2 to 3 days to clean this up and in order to get it ready for this spring. I'm gonna come out here and do some white oak planting, so stay tuned for the next day of this project. Well, it's day 4 of this project. We finally got a big brush pile burning, starting to get it cleared up in here. It's pretty hot. Dumped about a gallon of diesel fuel on it, so keep adding brush to it and get the rest of this cleared up today. Stay tuned. Well, we drove to Lafayette this morning. There's a place up there called Tree Pro that we actually found some tree tubes to plant our chestnut oaks this spring. I got about 50 tubes and 50 pine wood posts. They're 5.5 feet tall, I believe, 5 feet, somewhere around there. And we're going to plant those here in the next week or two. Once I know the temperatures stay above freezing at night, which they have been pretty consistently lately. So I think this weekend and maybe next weekend ought to be a pretty good time to start planting these. Still got a little work to do back here, cleaning up and cutting some stumps down, spraying the stumps so they don't stump sprout, but should be able to start planting here pretty soon. I'm pretty excited. As you can see out here, we've got a lot of it cleaned up. Just got to do some final touches and finish off our burn pile and start planting some trees. So stay tuned for that. Probably going to be a part 2 of this project here pretty soon once I get the last bit of this area cleaned up, and then we'll probably start with a part 2 video actually planting all the trees. So stay tuned. Well, it's March 20th. I'm back out here to try to finish up this clear cut project and actually plant some chestnut oaks. So I got probably 30 or so here that have all kind of gotten about planting size, and some are 8-9 inches tall or bigger. So just gonna try to clean up today, burn the rest of this pile, mark some places with marking paint and stretched out lines so we can kind of keep our rows pretty square, and then just try to get as many planted as we can. I went and got 50 tree tubes yesterday, so we're going to go ahead and get those staked out today once we get the rest of this cleaned up, and I'll give you a final view before we start doing all that and see where we go from there. So see how much we can get done today. It's a little later in the day than I wanted to get started, but I had some chores to get done today. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon, so we're going to try to get as much done today as we can and get this project wrapped up hopefully here soon. Well, my brother's got the second burn pile going. Getting her cleared up today. Still got a lot of brush to pick up, but I think we're gonna get some trees in this afternoon once we get this fire done. So it's gonna be a minute, but probably have to spend another day on this, and then say we'll have it wrapped up here soon. Well, it's March 26th. We're about done with this project. It's taking way longer than I wanted it to, but my dad's out there clearing some stumps. That's the main goal today, is just try to get all these stumps taken out so we can actually come in here and make some lines for the trees, plant some rows here soon, so I get after it. Let me get the big saw on that one. Well, finally coming to the end of this clear cut project. I think tomorrow I might actually be able to start planting some trees. So got a giant stack of wood and several of these rabbit sanctuaries built, all lined up along the fence line, so not tripping over anything. Remy's trying to find something in there already. Must be some rabbits in there or something. So I got several of these all along the fence line, and I think you know, after a few years, keep adding piles along here and piles along the other parts of the woods. I think it's gonna, you know, bring in some more, at least keep more rabbits in here. But so after we got all the stumps cleared out today, we started spraying them all with it's about 49% glyphosate. It's just an herbicide, but put some blue dye in it just to mark, you know, all the stumps. And as you can see, there's stumps all through here that we had cut out and sprayed so that they don't stump sprout, which a lot of times, you know, you probably want them to stump sprout in most situations, but since I'm actually coming in here and planting a bunch of chestnut oaks, I don't want any other competition for the oak trees. So I've got the tree tubes and everything ready to go. Tomorrow I'm going to get out some marking paint, make some rows, start planting some trees. So I might have to make a part 2 for this one, because it's been a long time coming. We started this project in February, now it's into March. So, but it's been a fun winter project and I'm glad to get it done. It's a lot better utilization for this 1/4 acre piece that we weren't doing anything with to begin with. So got a little bit of wood to burn still, and I think the rest of this we're gonna bring a tractor in here and scrape out and kind of clear it up a little bit. There's a bunch of trash in here that people dumped before, but it's looking a lot better. So well, I don't know what day this is of the project, but we're trying to get this finally finished here. We got the last of the burn pile that just kind of lit up, and trying to get it burned. And there's a bunch of concrete blocks where an old foundation used to be, kind of where I'm going to be putting my tree stand. So as you can see, he's burying all those concrete blocks, and we'll bury the rest of the tree stumps that didn't burn, and take the drag box and kind of smooth this all out so that it's all even kind of where we were burning. It was a big hole, so I'm just trying to kind of get the ground as flat as we can so that we can actually plant some trees. The main goal is to get this done today so we can actually mark up our rows, paint our spots where we're actually going to plant our trees. The last couple days have been down in the 20s or so at night, so I was a little afraid and hesitant to plant these last weekend. So that's kind of why we're actually planting them probably tomorrow, just because of the weather. So it's supposed to stay above 32 at night tonight, and then look at the next 15-day forecast. Looks pretty good. It's going to be in the 70s and mainly in the 40s at night. So I think we're safe to plant the trees now. I'm gonna go ahead and get this project as close to complete as I can here today and tomorrow. I also got some clover and chicory that I want to plant. I was trying to find some fertilizer that would be good for some clover, which is 0-20-20. So I'm really gonna have to order some. You don't want to put a whole lot of nitrogen in the soil for clover, apparently. So and try to order some and get that planted here pretty soon. I might have to spray a little bit before we do so. There's a little bit of grass coming up, so just to try to make this a little food plot in here. And as you can see, the tree where that stand's gonna go is that big red oak right there, and this will all be a big food plot here with some white oaks growing here in a few years. So we'll get her done either today or tomorrow and start part 2 with the tree planting. So Come here, Willie. Come here. Well, it's April 3rd. We're back out here at the farm. Finally got this project pretty much wrapped up as far as the clear cut project, and got it all flattened out. As you can see, my dad came out here with the tractor yesterday and pretty much buried all the rest of the burn pile and any trash that was out here that we didn't get rid of. We got it all cleaned up, and I'm actually going to come out here today and start part 2 of this video. And we're going to go ahead and get our trees planted, at least the chestnut trees that I've got growing so far. So afterwards I'm going to go ahead and spread some seed out, some clover and chicory, and then eventually put some fertilizer on it here pretty soon, just to kind of have something growing, you know, between the trees, you know, while they start to mature here in a few years. I'm not sure how long it's going to take for them to actually peek up over the tree tubes, but I'd say it'll probably take 3 or 4 years before they're big enough to kind of stand on their own. And I'd say in 6 or 7 years we'll probably be able to take the tree tubes off of them. But it's finally coming to an end here, and we finally start getting started on what I planned on doing the first couple weeks of this project, but we're finally getting to it, and the temperatures are finally starting to stabilize a little bit. We can actually, you know, start planting and not have to worry about, you know, frost getting our saplings. So I'm gonna get to it here, go ahead and get our rows lined up. And the way I'm gonna do that is basically start a row with some spikes and some twine and some orange marker paint. I'm gonna go ahead and spray, you know, equal intervals in between the trees, probably about 15 feet apart or so. And then the second row I'm going to kind of offset from the first row so that they actually have plenty of room to grow and have plenty of canopy space. So let's go ahead and get started on that.